Smile. Okay, hi. Welcome,
Hi.
everybody. Welcome to Illumination Portal. I'm Valerie. That is Kate, the Dream Detective, or
Hi,
Kate.
everybody. Thank you, Valerie, for inviting me. I'm so excited about today's show.
Thank you for coming on and talking to me about energy because it's a really hard topic to explain. It seems very easy. Like I put in the title. The title is The Secret Life of Energy, but it's really not a secret, but it is secret. It's hard to uncover, I guess, is what I want to say. We are energy. Everything is energy. Oh, by the way, this is a spiritual channel. I always forget to say this. And the whole point of my channel is to help raise the vibration on Mother Earth by raising our individual vibrations. And this is, again, is energy because everything is energy. So once we understand that we are in control of us only, it would be nice if we could change the rest of the world, but it doesn't work like that. But we can control what we allow in our energy field. Don't
And
you?
we can allow what goes out. So
Yeah,
we do influence the rest of the world. It's just not in a way that is easily seen.
right.
Have to trust that what we're putting out is being received and accepted and traveling to the places that it needs to travel to, right?
Right. Hi, Andrea. Most definitely. And that's just what it is, right? Uh, a vibration is a frequency, and they're very, very hi, Angela. Frequencies are so subtle. Like even this desk I'm sitting at, it looks solid, it feels solid, but it's literally molecules of energy that are in that form. That you know, I don't think we really think of things like that. We see crystals, like for instance, we know they have an energy. We know that electricity has an energy. And again, we're electromagnetic beings on an electromagnetic planet. So it's all interconnecting in all moments because energy doesn't, it never stands still. It only transforms. You can't create it or destroy it, according to Einstein. That is not me. So, but I mean, energy is what we emit out into the world. So how we speak, how we think, how what our thoughts and beliefs are create our feeling because our feelings and emotions, emotion is energy in motion, is what emanates from us at all moments. So I can tell, like if I go into a room and somebody just had an argument or somebody's happy, you can feel that vibe pretty much right away.
Right.
And I think,
If you're paying attention. And I have to say too, if you're of a vibration that doesn't match the argument. So it becomes very uncomfortable knowing that something's happened here that doesn't match your own vibe, right? Because you get that wobbly somersaults in your tummy feeling, right?
oh, oh yeah, and that's just it. Like the energy is always talking to us, right? So we might not be aware, but this is where light workers, love workers, energy workers come in because we are very attuned to the energies. Now, um, I didn't really know this until I researched it, how much we are affected by the energies around us. And
Right.
and for especially light workers and love workers, like we usually come from a very traumatic situation or we have a very traumatic situation, and that helps us to feel through something horrible to get to the other side of it. And hopefully most of us get to the other side of that, because that's another thing. If we sit there and just look at the negative part of being ill or being in a bad relationship and never see the other side of something, that's where we have our blinders on, right, to the energy. There's always two sides of the coin and everything in between. because we're let's put it to the basic terms. There is the highest frequency is love, unconditional love, right? The lowest is fear. So
Right.
anything in between that we can be at, and mostly are throughout the day. But I see us, or people like us on a spiritual path, existing in a higher, finer vibration more often. I'm just going to say hi to Janet P, to Starfish. She's lurking at work. Good to see you. Andrea, Angela. Am I missing anybody? No. Correct. Hi. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome.
A nice group of folks joining us this
I
morning.
know. That's
That's
so sweet.
exciting.
Yeah, so sweet. But so the love workers, light workers had it difficult, but we have stabilized in that energy to an extent to where we're holding the light. We're holding the light in our vicinity, at least, Then that's another thing. Like the external world wants to constantly grab our attention, and it can be any subject. And it's usually things, especially in the news, that aren't increasing our vibration, it's decreasing it. So
Yeah.
we're the gatekeepers of our vibration. And it almost sounded to me when I was getting into this like I was being selfish, like I'm being selfish with my energy. But you really have to be discerning of what is around you, what is affecting you. We are such highly sensitive people in the spiritual community. I'm not saying the rest of the world isn't, but those of us who are aware of it now, that it's everything to monitor what we ingest.
Right. Our environment, what we're taking in visually, what we're listening to, and
Mhm,
what we're repeating when we're talking with each other. And I
mhm,
find that the more I regulate or put boundaries up around my environment and my sensories of positive versus the negative, the more I crave the positive. And so I find myself searching new music or new documentaries or new experiences that help inspire me to be more creative,
mhm,
inspire me to be open minded, and to be willing to share those exciting types of energy with everybody around me. Because once you're tapped into understanding and discerning which one you want to live in, for me
mhm,
at least, it's almost a craving.
mhm,
There's like this physical need to stay at a certain level, and then I totally
mhm.
find that when that level isn't being met, that I feel like I'm having like almost like a low blood sugar reaction,
Yeah.
or that my nerves are, or that I'm nervous, or that I'm jittery. And so the physical sensations that are happening in the change of growing into that higher vibration are actually really pretty strong. They start out a little quiet, and then they just start getting stronger and stronger and stronger. The
Yeah.
more positive that you're putting out, you suddenly start noticing, oh, wait a minute, what just happened there? What was that? Uh,
Right.
so that you can prepare yourself to either protect yourself or protect your energy, or make the decision that, you know what, I don't think I'm going to watch that program anymore, or read this, or listen to this, because in repeating what we're watching and in repeating in our thoughts what we're taking in, those are affecting the frequency. And the
Mhm,
thoughts, of course, become spoken, and then the spoken becomes reality.
mhm,
So if you want your reality to have your creative energy in it, you have to think of the better day. You have
mhm,
to envision the better day. You have to dream of what makes
mhm.
the better world, the better day, the better solution, how to um, how to imagine all those wonderful solutions that are brewing inside everyone at this point.
Yeah.
All of that mixing up of ideas and thoughts and experiences.
And that's a lot of times just flipping the coin, right? Like if I find I'm hearing something bad now, or the news of the world. I stay on top of it, but I do it in small increments, right? It's not like we can never have a bad feeling again, or never be in a bad vibration.
Right.
In my vicinity, I keep it really nice and peaceful, you
Mhm.
know. But I also know, and I think this does go for all of us, that we've gotten to this point. We had to understand our energy first, and we had to understand what it is we can ingest, and really, I can't see certain things, especially if it's coming towards abuse of animals or children. I mean, I send love to everything, no matter what it is where I want to go with that, because there's just certain things that are really hard to constantly see, and we are working so hard, like you said, to keep that momentum up, right? Keep it up, keep it going.
Right.
It's
And even
important.
even just doing the flipping of the coin, in the example of, somebody saying something nasty to someone else, even in the grocery line while you're waiting to get your groceries, instead of, going there with, wow, they were a blankety blank, or they shouldn't have blankety blanked, or,
Mhm,
casting judgment on whatever that particular overheard
mhm.
conversation was. Just imagine them filled with, light and love and peace, and then move on and let it go.
And
You know,
it's unreal, though. It's unreal that when you do that, it literally makes it all better. Now, I don't know what that person's going through.
right,
I'm sending them love.
right.
Or when you're driving and you're around drivers who are,
Trying to run you off the road.
yeah, yeah, gotta protect yourself. But this is where it comes in, right, for our daily, because this is how Kate and I were trying to get this topic to be, well, what can we do on a daily basis? How do we keep ourselves vibing at that, at least neutral or above? Now,
Right,
again, we know that things are going to come into our vicinity, or we're going to hear news, whether it's personal, family news, bad news does happen. It's not like we can run from it, but it's,
right.
what do we do with it? And just like you said, we send it love, we send it understanding, peace, truth. Um, I do that every morning, and I think you do too. You get up in the morning, and I just connect to the ground, into Mother Earth, and to my higher self, and I see my energy field, and I see if there's anything. Because there's days I wake up and I'm like, why am I up? Like, this is not where I'm but if I sit there and just give it a few minutes and go, okay, let me see what I get to clear out of here. What is it? What's hanging on? And I just focus in my energy field until it's running clear. And then I put a gold bubble. It's see through and it's sparkly around myself, my car, my house, all the time, the dog, and everything, my kids,
That's
because that I was a that makes me feel safe. I was always felt, as a kid, a lot of us were. I felt unsafe. So safety and security is a big thing to me. Now, this is just me energetically envisioning it, but it makes me feel safe, you
yeah,
know? I
absolutely. I start my day with a particular song.
see.
I put that song on every day, and it just totally sets the whole day,
Yeah.
because it has all the lyric and all the harmony in it that resonates within me and reminds me why I'm on the planet. And so, to have that intention to start the day with the intention, with faith and trust and belief. And I think somebody really smart recently said to me, put your order in. Do you remember when you told me that? You said, ask
Thank
the
you.
universe, ask the
Mhm.
universe. Put your order in. I
Mm.
love that phrase. Put your
Oh,
order in. What's your order in for today? And it's
right.
just wonderful.
Yeah,
We want
and I
to
mean, it's that And it's really, it sounds like, oh, this is too simple. It's too, this will never work. I was that person. I didn't believe any of this stuff at first, and kind of had to lose everything to be forced to do it in a way. I don't want to say the universe was forcing me, but it was like my only option is to trust and have faith. And that's where that really comes down to, right? You got to trust and have faith. So I got to that point, but it was like, okay, so what are you going to put in for your order? What is it that you want to experience in a daily basis? And it's not like you're going to be in this high vibe blissful state all the time, but you can feel content, and
Yes.
that's everything to me. I don't know.
And I think that there's a certain element of us growing um, into our more authentic selves at this time.
Mhm,
That there's a faster energy exchange, and that there's more information coming in, more support coming in, more love coming into the planet, and
mhm,
the more earthquakey we feel, or the more turmoil, troubled the earth feels, wobbly. The air feels wobbly, the fire, everything is,
mhm,
in a level of unrest. When
mhm.
the world is unrestful, the only place that you can find that peace is from within. So to
Absolutely.
be peaceful from within, to know that this is all going to be okay, that we are all going to be okay,
Mhm,
comes from a daily practice of going through these kinds of processes of waking up. And the very first thing you want to do is acknowledge that you're this magnificent soul on the planet with a purpose, and
mhm,
ask for that guidance and put in your order of what
mhm.
you need to show up today. What would make it better?
Right.
If there's a situation that's coming up that's uncomfortable, or that is nerve wracking, or a problem that just won't go away, envision the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Envision what would be the best thing that could happen in this conversation, or in this interaction, or to create the solution. And then trust that that's what's going to take place, and give it to the universe to handle it from that point on, so that the rest of your day can be filled with adventure, or excitement, or creating something, or
Mhm,
connecting with someone, so that you can share that with them without that pulling down feeling of, oh, I'm burdened by this. I don't realize that I'm acting like I'm burdened by this.
right.
Right. But your energy can come down when there's something that you haven't just released. You haven't healed, haven't released, haven't trusted. So I just absolutely adore the put your order in. First thing in the morning, put your
Yeah.
order. Yeah.
And we are a spark of, the divine
Right.
spirit, and we do have more. I like how you said, if someone else is triggering me, and my thing is I always wanted to go fix it, right? I want to fix things for you. Just let me take care of it. I had to learn that one. That's a hard one to learn. Where if I just send them love and peace, and knowing that their spirit and their soul has the intelligence, or the whatever it's going to take to
Mhm.
get them to a better space. But I had to learn how to let that go, just by saying, sending love to them and sending peace to them. Um, that was a hard one for me. All of this, and let's say that again. This is not easy. The way I got even into this, I don't even know. My thoughts were so terribly bad, and I was so abusive to myself. And I'd read all these things, and spiritual things, and listen to meditations, and it really boiled down to, after a lot of digging, well, you have to, every thought you have that's negative, you have to go in and flip it. And I was like, are you serious? I'll never do anything else. Stop just being there flipping thoughts. But I did it, and I worked at it and worked at it. Yeah, it was so hard. But I have to say, for whatever that time span that took, a few months, and even now I still do it. A thought will come in and I'll be like, oh, that's not how we think. Let's change that up. But I am not, my mind doesn't do that to me anymore. I used, it doesn't attack. It felt like I was under attack all the time.
Well,
Like,
I think partly too, Val, and I think it's so cute that the flippin' thoughts were flipping thoughts, right? Just the way the words come out, right? Oh, those flippin' thought, no, we're
Mhm,
flipping the thoughts. And so,
mhm,
one of the examples that you and I were talking about to understand the power of our thoughts and our self-talk, um,
mhm,
we talked about an example of, the first time that you've fallen in love and you're having a breakup.
mhm,
And in the breakup, all those thoughts come in about inadequacy, not pretty enough, not sexy enough, not smart enough, not wealthy enough, not from the right side of the tracks, whatever, all those conversations that are tripping in your head about why the relationship, didn't flourish or wasn't sustained for whatever reason. But as you develop the self-love, as you develop a sense of who you are and your autonomy and your independence, and you understand how glorious and wonderful you are with
mhm,
all the funny little quirky little things. Those funny little quirky little things aren't with anybody else, they're only with you.
mhm,
So, in understanding that breakup situation, looking at it as, well, I need to learn a lesson from this interaction. Maybe they taught me something. Maybe I taught them something. And
mhm,
now we're on a different journey path. And that's okay. And I wish that person love.
yeah,
I only wish the best for that person. Because whatever you wish for that person, you're wishing for yourself as well.
mhm,
That same energy is coming back. That
mhm,
same energy of loving yourself, loving them, loving you is all coming back. It all works its way back in. And it's part of that thought process that says, wait a minute,
mhm,
there's a lesson in this, or there's a gift within this lesson. That's what it is. There's a gift
mhm,
within the lesson. Take the time to be quiet and see what answers come to you for what that gift is. Then once you open that gift and you take it on, you never have that lesson again. Not the way
mhm.
you had it the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah. See
yeah,
that?
yeah,
And
lessons, yeah. And it does. The lessons, right? Every time you go into it, or similar one, it's not as jolting as the first time. And
right.
that does take a little time, but like with the self love and acceptance was another thing that, besides changing my negative thoughts to a higher vibrating thought, whether it was just neutral or a positive thought. But once that self-love key came in and the acceptance key came in, that really changed a lot for me too. Um, that's all energy we're giving ourselves. So if you don't love and respect yourself or accept yourself, that's vibing out of you. That you may not see it, but and other people may not see it because we're speaking on that frequency. That's the unspoken words are frequency, right? And they're just as powerful as the actual speaking of the words, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that when it's a hard one to get a hold of, but that once you do, you're never the same.
Yeah.
That once you realize that only you can control what you think about yourself, and that what everybody else thinks and does and says really doesn't matter. It just
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't equal the same kind of joy that you get from the authentic place of knowing that you're loved, of knowing that you're worthy of love, and knowing that you're a good person with unique, fun things that nobody
Yeah.
else has. So
I do.
that's a that's a whole nother show, by the way.
Yeah. We'll do that one too. Yeah,
Yep.
because I mean, well, we're back down to, okay. our thoughts and beliefs, right? And how we speak to ourselves. And this all around us is, I call it the ether, but it's creational energy. It
Yes.
is this it is it takes its direct orders from your vibration. It doesn't it doesn't judge that though. You want to feel crappy, or you want to constantly, I don't know, have car issues or whatever. It, if you're complaining, oh, my car never runs. Now, I did this before, and my car was always broke down, or I wish I had a new car, or why can't I have, it would be that, like, why can't I have this or that? And until I realized to just be grateful for what it is I do have, and I don't have any issues. And I know that sounds kind of easy and simple too, but I learned hard lessons going through all that. But this
Right.
frequency doesn't know that, oh, this isn't really what she wants. She wants the new car. Well, you can't get it unless you're speaking that into the existence of this energy, this
Right.
creation energy, or writing it out, or talking to your friends about, oh, this car's going to be beautiful, and getting into all the details. But I would be talking to my friends about, oh, my car's broke down again. And so it's just these things that don't seem like they seem random and don't seem like they have anything to do with anything. But that really is the vibration you're putting out. You're getting back.
And it is interesting to see the shift when you look back. When you
Yeah.
when you look back and you go, wow, that doesn't happen anymore. I wonder why that doesn't happen anymore. Look, I got the promotion, and look, my I got a new car, and those are great things to help you feel better and to live well. But the reality is it the good speak that you're putting out there?
Mhm,
Is it the goodness? It's not complaining. It's
mhm,
not worrying. It's not um, being a part of the lower energy that is a feeling of lack
mhm.
rather than a feeling of complete abundance. And in that practice, I always go toward the I am statements.
Yeah.
I am healthy. I am happy. I am wealthy beyond measure.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
am creative. I am at peace. I am a conduit for love. I am open to receiving and giving all the love I can in the
mhm,
world. And those statements, as they come out your mouth or as you hear someone else say them, can seem or feel a little bit awkward or, wow, that's strange. Only until you understand that that energy vibration is like flowers blooming. It's
mhm.
like your cat purring in your lap.
Yeah.
It's right? It's your dog coming and resting on your feet.
Mhm,
That's what that is. When you
mhm,
say it, when you think it, when you believe it, when you hear it, and you put it out there, you are watering the love on the planet. You're
mm.
giving it the healing that it's begging for, that it needs for us to move forward for a different tomorrow. And it's actually, to me, it's a really exciting time to be on the planet, even though it's kind of like being on a roller coaster, buckle up.
Mhm,
And one of the funniest things that I realized about stress or releasing stress was you have a couple of options. Like a roller coaster, you can white knuckle it, right? Put those
mhm,
hands on that bar. Until they can't even be pried off, right? So you can take the stress of being on the handlebar and screaming because it's so uncomfortable, or you can let go and laugh. Laughter and screaming both release the same kind of
mhm,
energy. They're an energy release. They're your
mhm,
spirit letting go. Okay.
mhm,
So any opportunity for laughter, whether it's watching a movie or talking to friends, is a reset. And that's
mhm.
another little cute tip for, understanding how to navigate uncomfortable roller coaster days or weeks or months or however long you're on that roller coaster. There are options for making that ride either sweet or terrifying. But the
And
choice always yours.
it is. It is. I used to worry. I just worried. I thought the more I worry, it'll fix it. And I mean, I was young. I remember telling myself as a kid, just think the worst possible outcome, and this way you won't be disappointed. And I mean, I was a kid, and I told myself that that statement as a kid stayed with me for most of my life, until I got into all, was like we all were spiritually woken up, or whatever you want to call it.
Exploring.
But and then coming into it and going, oh my God, I told myself that this was going to be the lesser of two evils, basically, instead of looking for another way. Now I did find that other way, and I'm grateful. But the whole reason why we're having this show is like, maybe, people don't realize how much they affect their own ability to create your life, just by what you're saying to yourself and what you deep down believe. I still pull out beliefs. I'm like, oh my God, where'd that come from? I don't believe that anymore. But you actually have to go in and say, I choose to replace this belief with this new belief, right? To keep this energy going. But again, once you're in this certain space of energy, you really don't have all this other stuff like hanging on you like a weight. It just isn't there. um oh, I put down laugh and have fun, but laughing is the best one, right? Laughing and having fun, listening to music. I'm
Right.
sorry.
That exploring of, if you're hearing something right now that you're thinking, I'd really like to have that in my life, but I'm not really sure how to find it. Just ask. Ask the universe to bring something into your life that's going to lift your heart. Okay.
Mhm.
So I can give you an example of that, where we moved to a new town. We didn't know anyone. My husband was really wanting to play the keyboard again in a way that he felt was purposeful. And most people have never heard my husband play because he doesn't hit the record button. And he'll probably be really mad at me for sharing this, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it. And so I put it out into the universe in I put in my order. Please show us a way to connect with community and a way that John can continue to play his music. And within about 2 weeks, maybe, he got a random phone call from a gentleman saying, "Hey, we're looking for someone that can accompany a small church group, in town, and we heard that you know how to play the piano." so within 2 weeks, there it was.
Yeah.
A sense of community, a sense of music, a sense of him feeling like he was doing something good with his music. And it was absolutely so wonderful to say thank you and to trust that whatever you were asking for could come to be real. There is so much potential in that creative energy. We are participants in this. We are actively doing stuff, even though we may not be aware that we're doing it. We are doing it in every breath that we take. We are either sending out something that is going to help or can actually help hurt you.
Yeah.
So, in understanding that, put in your order, trust that it can become real. If there's something that you're searching for, if you're searching for community, if you're searching for like minded people, if you want to learn more about how to explore your own energies and researching a class or connecting with other people, there, all you have to do is ask, just ask, and see what shows up. And because most people, I think, are a little nervous about something they don't know about yet,
Yeah.
and there can be some shyness with it. Everything that is a blessing to you, everything that is given to you in love, will always be comfortable. It will always be easy. It will always be something that you can flow with and
Mhm.
not have to struggle with.
And
So,
don't
as
you think, I'm sorry, don't you think that, like, when you're asking, okay, we're putting our order in, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I know I've kind of minimized it because I didn't want to seem like I was asking for too much, or and and that was just like I think that's just a mindset some of us have, where okay, I compromise or whatever it is, I'm going to compromise with the universe. I don't need this whole brand new car. I'll take, you know, or whatever it is, but I know, but it is like the more detailed you put into it, like you did with John's, um, get
Playing
the
music.
play music, it all came, right? And that was some detail in there. And that was for another person, you
Right.
know?
Right. Well,
That,
I got to enjoy the side effects of it too, though.
yeah.
So I always love that phrase that says, "The one that created the stars and the heavens and the planets and the universe also created you."
Hmm.
There is nothing more magnificent than who we are. To understand that, to embrace that, to love that, and to let that really shine.
Hmm.
This isn't a scary experience. This is
Yeah.
meant to be a participatory interaction, communication with the trees, the plants, the wind, the sky, the sun. All of it was created, and you and me was
Hmm.
created so that we would share in what was magnificent and glorious and exciting and loving and
Yeah.
fun,
Everybody.
like soda pop. The little
Yeah.
effervescent bubbles that come and sparkle your face with little bursts of whatever. It's all just a wonderful experience, and I think that having those traditions of um, start your day with your intention, be at peace with who you are,
Hmm.
expect the best, speak
Hmm.
the best. I had a friend that I worked with who, after working with her for about 6 months, realized that she never said anything negative about anyone.
Hmm.
I found that extremely interesting because it was so blatantly bright. She was so bright, right? And it wasn't that there wasn't complicated situations coming to her desk or that she had uncomfortable interactions. She still had those, but she had a sense of peace and confidence within herself that said, I don't have to say those things.
Right.
I don't have to let those things come out into the universe. And for what purpose? What does it do anyone to criticize another human being or to complain or judge? Because really, those aren't our tasks. We are
No.
not we are not meant to be doing those things. So
Mhm.
if we can, kind of put a filter up that says, okay, I'm staying on this side of the spectrum.
Right.
Or for today, just for
Yeah.
today. Just for today, I'm going to try to do, three things. I'm going to wake up and do something that brings me joy, like listen to music. I'm going to put in my order for what I would like to see happen in today. And then three, I'm just going to enjoy my day.
Mhm.
Those are the starts. Those are
Mhm.
what starts. And what happens for me, at least, is that on the days where I don't do that, I so totally notice it.
Yeah. Yeah. I do too.
I'm like,
And
"Look, I gotta go back to bed now. Let me see if I can start over." And you really can. You can start that process. It doesn't have to be the when you first wake up. It can
well,
be
yeah,
any
and yeah, I was just gonna say that you can do this all day. We get thrown off our center
Mhm.
constantly, depending on what's coming from the external. But
Right.
you can always go back in and center yourself, be thankful, grateful. All that I say, I'm grateful for everything. I was shuffling the cards this morning to pick a card, and it was a gratitude card, and I was saying thank you for showing me a card today to help me, get on my path today. And it was about being grateful. And you just after a while you just can't make that up because we have all these tools, right? We got the cards, we got pendulums, astrology, so many energy tools, sound tools. Now that's another frequency thing that is vitally important. I would listen to the meditations that were in different hertz for different ailments or different, emotional things. And it's just unbelievable how that vibration can lift you up. But isn't, I don't know, you know more about this than I do on like music that plays on the radio. Isn't that at a frequency that isn't good for
The way
humanity?
Right. The way that John explains it is that each note within on the keyboard. So basically there are 11 notes. There are, 8 white ones and 5 black ones. Oh, that's
Mm,
13, isn't it? Anyway, each octave has a set of notes, and that each frequency is one of those notes. So that it's actually the notes on that are playing. Like, just to throw it out there, and I'm making this up because I don't remember what he said, but he said 440 hertz was middle C.
mm,
So that's a so if you were playing middle C, that vibration that you're hearing is somewhere between trust and love on the
mhm.
frequency scale, right?
Yeah.
And there is a way to actually look at that and see that, which is why in meditation sometimes you'll be listening and realizing that they're playing very slowly. That the notes are being intentionally moving slowly as if the sun is rising,
Mm,
slowly as if you're, just gently waking up, right? It's a movement between notes that are harmonious to each other. And the higher notes are higher up on the sound frequency, on the higher scale, but those higher scale can be anywhere on the keyboard. So I think that that those meditation ones where they talk about 528 hertz or they talk about 60
mm,
hertz are definitely worth taking the 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is
mhm.
there for, to center yourself and to come back to feeling good about things again in a situation, or even not in a situation where you're wanting to flip it. I just love that. I love that.
And like I have sound bowls and rattles and different things, and it'll just be an intuitive thing. It's like
Right.
the deck I picked this morning, I wasn't thinking about it, but that card of gratitude came out, and it just ends up to be like the perfect thing, the perfect sound, the perfect card. Once you're just being centered in yourself and at this I don't even want to say it's all that, but it is. It's a beautiful vibration that you just exist in. And it seems like anything you do with that vibration, it always comes to you in an ease and graceful, uh,
Right.
harmonious way. There's no struggle in it. Like I remember, like first reading cards when I was young. Well, I want to know why, why doesn't so and so like me, and I wouldn't like what the card said or something. We've all done it, and you're arguing with the card. Well, yeah, I'm putting that energy in there, right? So
So,
it just gets crazy when you think about how uh, when you look back over time in your life and the things that you did or didn't do to get to this space now, right?
yes.
And it's just such a beautiful space. I'm not saying I don't have bad days and bad moments, but I can easily readjust myself to
Right.
to
But
an
that's
go ahead.
But that's because you've been practicing, right, Val?
Yeah.
So as you're practicing what you're learning, as you're putting it into your day, as you're
Mhm.
saying yes to working with the frequencies, and then paying attention to seeing what happens. I mean, you could
Mhm.
be your own petri dish if you wanted to be.
I
You
know I am.
you can say, okay, let's see, what can I put out there? I used to say to people when it was a really beautiful day out, and they would say, isn't it gorgeous out? And I said, yes. And I put my order in for 300 more days. Little did I know that would create a drought. No, I'm kidding. But it's it's the same kind of concept in
Mm.
how you respond. in how you respond and how you allow and flow with it
Mhm.
rather than pushing against it. And I love that cartoon, similar to what you're talking about, where the reader or the sitter is saying, tell me about this relationship. Will we ever get back together again? And the reader is saying, wait, I've answered that 10 times. Don't you want to get a different
Right?
question?
Yes, I will.
Right? Sometimes life is hard like that, to understand what's going on or why it's going on. And, when the dreams are not, or when your answers are not coming in the daytime, that's where coming in the evening and while you're sleeping
Mhm.
is so powerful because, we are alive 24/7. We may only be aware, really actively participating, until we put our head on the pillow. But
Mhm.
I think we continue, and there's
Mhm.
stuff going on that we are doing, that we are making happen in those places where we are dreaming and sleeping and interacting and sharing and joining all the forces that we don't see during the day that are still there during the day. They're just not something that we can see as easily as we can when we're sleeping. But
Right.
it's all a process of getting to a place of saying, yes, we want a better world. Yes, we want things to be different and more loving and more peaceful and have more joy. And the best way to do that is to have them within yourself first, and that way they emanate out.
Mhm.
And
And
it's always a challenge.
yeah, it is. It's always a challenge. You got to put your oxygen mask on first, right? Basically, and
Right.
and clear your own energy and get yourself in alignment. And
And the other thing I wanted to just mention along those lines is we're not meant to do them alone. We're
no,
meant to do them with each other. We're meant to have connections where people can point things out. Hopefully, they're pointing them out in a gentle way, and that you can hear it and that you can share and figure out a way to accept or heal or release something holding you back. But we're not supposed to be doing this all alone.
mm,
We're supposed to be here for each other. So again, if you're looking for community, if you're looking for pieces of what we've been talking about, I'm sure that you could email Val or you can email me and we can provide some resources for, joining up with different classes or different groups. And oh
mhm.
boy, I should have done some more research before I said all that, but that's okay. We'll figure it out.
I know, it's like when you're live and it's just like we're live, it's on the fly, and it is, but then,
There it
but,
goes.
but it's a true statement. Email either one of us, or, there's all these wise women in the chat. You,
Absolutely.
we can always help each other. And thankfully, we've met each other. And we met each other over a really difficult time period on Earth where we were in a pandemic, politically. And it really was looking hopeless there for a while. Like all that work we had been doing on ourselves up until that point was like, really, this is the end result of it. But no, universe had, here's your friends, here's some people to hang out with. You know, all these small groups have came into existence, all these classes, and this is, I'm just talking spiritual end of it. It's happening on every aspect, that we live in Earth. But
Right.
it to me, it's just beautiful how it's unfolding, and we keep in touch with each other. We hang out with each other. We practice with each other to make ourselves and our gifts stronger. Um, See, Janet P said, meeting everyone helped her to survive. And that's true. It was real touchy there.
Yes. Yes.
And somehow we come to the other side. We flipped it. We come and flip it. And here
We're still flipping.
we're still flipping. It's a slow motion flip, right? Like
Yeah.
it's gonna boom, but it's got. I see. I see the world. It feels better to me. The energy of the world feels better to me than it did 2 years ago, even 2 months ago. 2 months
Yeah.
ago, I kind of stop doing videos for a minute because I needed to readjust my energy and figure out, okay, what's, internally going on. Another block being released. Surprise, but it just happens.
Exactly. You know, and if we are exploring our gifts psychically, energetically, just think about all the other people that are engineers or that are environmentalists or that are construction workers, that their centers and inspiration and downloads are coming on what they can do collectively to help the planet. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not in construction, right? I'm not an engineer to know,
Mhm.
or a farmer, I'm not any of those things. But I am so grateful for those that are.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that as the same way that I'm lit up now, they're also being lit up in their gifts, in their ways of, giving us solutions. And I'm just so grateful for it because it was like, wait a minute, if this is happening to me in the stuff that really makes my heart go da 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 da, then what is it like for other people that have different kinds of gifts in different situations, and
Awesome.
in sharing in that good vibe electricity energy, because it's not just going out for like-minded, like what we're talking about with spiritual gifts. It's going out for all that creative energy.
Yeah.
All of it is going out for all over the place, medically, climate, the planet, education, everything that we are looking at is, well, maybe we need a change, or maybe we need to find a better way of doing it. All of those aspects of being human right now, I think, are looking toward better solutions and a better tomorrow.
And
And that
it
people are getting lit up all over the place and connecting, and it's just super exciting. It's like big web, big net, big
is.
sparkling things going on all over the place.
And it is happening. There's new building materials going back to hemp. There's new ways to conserve energy, clean water,
Mhm.
and these are all vitally important for us to exist as a species, right? We need to have clean water, clean soil, clean air, and you know, clean energy. We're like this energy to me feels cleaner. It feels cleaner in the ethers. Um, we we were talking earlier about how to keep ourselves our energy clean and waking up and what we do to keep ourselves grounded and in a higher vibration and mindful meditation. As I tell you, that was a big one for me too, where I just because I'd be like, oh, I don't have time to sit down, lay down and meditate for 20 minutes or an hour, but I can walk around and look at everything in awe, and just put myself in this, wow, thank you, thank you, universe. And cleaning your area, your vicinity, and this I keeping your energy flowing and clean. You can see the difference, and I'm not judging anybody. I've had cluttered houses many a times. I used to be very busy, but you can feel the energy difference in a cluttered house, in organized house, right?
Right.
Um, staging that air, putting that stage throughout your whole space clears that of any lingering or old negativity. And salt, I put little salt dishes around in each room because it'll collect any energy coming in. I always put it at the front door, like when you're walking in the house, because if you can walk past the salt, you've been cleaned walking in the house energetically. And I just really want everybody to have that feeling of peace, of coming into a space. I say a lot of people say that when they come in my room, that they can't, they love the energy in here because I have crystals everywhere. I have salt. I have, silly little things that make me happy. But it is sage is cleansing, and essential oils are very cleansing. You- I don't know. Do you diffuse oils or?
I'm real sensitive. Yeah. So
Mm,
if I do anything, it's usually, the winter, fall scents like clove or cinnamon or, and for me, clearing the energy of the house is music. So I'll open windows and put on music and just let that music clear the space because I believe in the power of music, of all those
yeah.
vibrations. So yeah, and you can feel the difference when that happens. I was gonna tell you that the other day my cat was laying on me, my Wissonato. She was laying on me and she was sort of sleepy, half sleepy, and I started singing the song that I was listening to through my earbuds. And the minute I started singing, she started purring. And then I
Mm,
would stop singing and she would stop. And then I would start singing and she would start. And she was purring. It was almost like she was purring in harmony with me singing, which I thought
aw.
was just the sweetest little thing for a 20-pound cat.
Cats are definitely vibrational. They clear vibration. They align vibration just by being. You can see cats.
Yeah,
They notice everything too. Like so, they notice when something's not where it should be or how it should be.
yeah,
I just love watching animals because I mean it's everything though. It's everything on Mother Earth gives
right.
us signs, gives. Indicators. Um, I don't know, man. It's just a fascinating subject to me to get into the um, vibration and frequency of things. It's so subtle.
It's very subtle. The higher frequencies are more quiet. They're
Mm-hmm.
more quiet to our senses. They're softer, they're gentler. When you get into the lower ones, it's bombastic and screaming and
Mm-hmm.
untruthful, and just there's just so much muck in the muck.
Mm-hmm.
For us to be quiet and to actually notice the stillness and actually notice, the peaceful feeling that you have while you're enjoying that, and to cultivate that and keep that as part of you. Once a person has experienced it, it's better than any drink, any drug, any food, any other type of experience because it's within you. It's your own vibration creating that higher feeling of joy.
Yeah.
And that's in some ways the most, like I said, there are days where I just absolutely crave it. like how do I make the world stop so that I can just bring that back for a minute? Because once it's there, it does tend to linger. So
Yeah. And I mean that's that's what I'm saying. Even if went into Walmart yesterday, just had to go shopping. Before I get to a store, well, I get in the car and I uh, put gold bubble around that, and usually I put gold and pink for love and healing,
mhm.
and protection, right? And anywhere I walk in, I see it lit up. So all of Walmart is in a pink bubble of love. And I seriously just go in and this I do this to every store. I will go in and it'll just be the smoothest thing there is. Where before when I would forget, because I used to, oh yeah, I'm supposed to cover everything with energy. But until I really put that as an experiment to the test and would see the difference compared to standing in line forever, if this happened or that happened, couldn't find a parking space. It it seriously changes the tiniest things of your life that you're so grateful for when they're going smoothly.
Absolutely, and you can feel the interaction. You
Yeah,
you you can feel the reciprocating, it coming back to you, feeling it coming back to you quickly.
yeah.
It's not something that you have to wait years for. You'll
No,
to discover that, wow, look at that. That just happened. That
no,
just happened. Did my energy help make that happen?
right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an exciting exploration and adventure
Yeah.
when all of those things click in, when they click in and you feel like there's so much potential and there's so many possibilities and what's tomorrow going to bring? What's today going to bring? What's it going to look
Right.
like?
Because when
I
you do,
know, yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
no, that's okay. I just know that that I'm looking forward to doing some challenges that I've never even thought I could possibly do, and
Right.
I'm not really frightened of it. I'm just kind of going, wow, I wonder what's going to happen when I do this.
Right. Yeah. Because you know it's gonna, especially if you make that intention and you speak it or you write it and you have this plan. You know, you're creating by your intentions, by what, and where does that come from? We're following our heart. Like when you hear when you can hear your heart speak to you, and this does come after, loving yourself and accepting yourself in your heart, because your heart's very quiet, you know. It's the ego or the mind that's always going, hey, hey, hey. But the ego and the mind have to work for the heart. They're
Yes.
not in charge. So getting that straightened out is challenging, but you do get there eventually just by doing what some of the suggestions that we were talking about. And it
Right.
takes experimenting with that. But
Right.
once you hear what your heart wants and you follow that, you can't go wrong. You can't.
Well, and it's interesting too that once you've discovered the changes within yourself, you'll discover that your relationships with some people will suddenly sort of start to feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
And then what it'll be sort of sudden at first, or even maybe even more dramatic, where they will say, you know what, um, I'm out, and in some ways that's the best news you could hear because
Mhm.
if if the ones that are bringing you down don't want to hang around, say la vie, let
Yeah.
them go,
Yeah.
because that's it. That's the universe keeping you on a path that's going to keep you at your highest potential and in your highest sense of love and um, safety and of understanding that the universe really does have your back. And
Mhm.
it's not hard to just test it, to just, give it a try and see what comes out on that, order list. Sometimes it's on back order. We do have to be clear. We have to put that, have to put that disclaimer out there that sometimes you have to wait a little while because whatever it is on back order, but it'll eventually show up at your door if it's for your highest good. So
It does. And things for your highest good do have a way of, once you put it out there, the, the universe just moves that frequency to match you.
yeah,
And that's what we're talking about here. What emit the frequency that you want to live in, and the universe will match that. But you can't lie to the frequency. Like I can't go about um, talking about people behind their back and expect I'm going to have solid relationships or whatever. These things do come out. Like, and so, like you were saying about certain people will fall away. They do, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment on anybody's part. The
right,
thing is that the frequency doesn't match anymore and you can feel it. And usually the highly sensitive empaths or psychics, intuitives, like most of us here, we feel that. We feel that disconnect way before other people will acknowledge it, you
mhm.
know. But the universe, like you said, the universe doesn't make mistakes.
That's
There's
right. And it could be too that it's not their time to understand it.
right.
So in getting that we have multiple lifetimes and there are many, many opportunities, this particular lifetime, this present moment, the hearts that are lighting up, the connections that are being made, it's for a specific purpose. It's that purpose that we will uncover when we're done. We may never even see it while it's happening, but we are participating in allowing that to become real. And
Mhm.
the ones that, are not ready or that are following something else or vibing somewhere else,
Or
you know,
vicious, like, because there's a lot, let's be real, there's a lot of viciousness going on.
there
And
is.
And really the only thing I can do to that is just send love and remove myself from the situation. That's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
protecting you. That's protecting yourself and your energy.
Yeah.
If someone is extreme like that, around you.
Yeah. And honestly, the only thing that can transform some of this lower energy stuff is love,
Mm,
and given freely,
yeah.
not with anything expected in return, not with anything, no strings attached, nothing. Just here, I'm laying it at your feet. It's for you to have, um,
Mhm.
and please let it be to the best for whatever your journey is. And that can be hard too, especially in relationships like family relationships where you have to let go of people that have been in your life forever.
Mm.
But if their frequency is not a match for you and it is causing more pain than it is love, then you know feel like know that it's okay to close that door or to
Mm.
move away from that situation. And I'm
For
not saying
now,
it's
yeah,
forever,
for
but
now, for
right.
now.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think we can do what we're meant to do if we have too much that we're carrying around with us that's not working.
yeah,
So
exactly.
kind of have to clean house inside and out. So,
Yeah, because look, we're in this every day. We're straddling, right, a third dimensional frequency
hmm
and higher,
hmm
and we're literally like surfing this. Those of us that are aware of it, and intuitives, empaths, and spiritual people like ourselves. And when you become aware of that, it really does open. It even opens it more for you because now you're surfing and it's nice. The is real easy. Hold on for dear life like you were at one point in time, but not saying you won't.
yeah, yeah. You don't need to hold on for dear life anymore. You can just ride the wave.
Right? It's all
Oh,
about
love it.
flow, right? We
Yeah.
are just flowing, and immediately when you're not flowing, when you're like putting the brakes on, going in reverse, and going, what's that?
Yeah.
Take a minute, recenter. But I mean, we can talk and talk about this. I love this subject, but
I know.
you and I are going to
Wonderful.
come back and talk some more about energy, secret life of
Absolutely.
energy. And we appreciate everyone that came to visit with us today. And for those who see it later, thank you for coming and watching um, our energy video. Um, Please, I hate to say this, please like, share, and subscribe. I don't hate saying it, but it just seems so. And and I just want to thank you. Thank you, Kate, for coming in, having this beautiful discussion with me,
We'll do
balancing.
it again. I
Oh,
promise. We'll do it again and again and again and again.
we're going to keep
I'm really
testing
grateful
it.
to you too, Belle, for opening it up and allowing it to be a simple conversation. Because I know that it can be confusing for folks, and it doesn't need to be confusing. It'll
Mm-mm.
click when it clicks.
It's
And
true. I mean, you can, I go down the rabbit holes and you're like, how am I ever going to explain any of this? Because how do you explain frequency? Thank you, Angela. Thank you, ladies. But
yes,
we're going
thanks
to come
guys
back.
for tuning in.
Yeah, we're going to come back and talk about flowing in the energy again soon. Y'all have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.